Hello, welcome back to another video. Today's video is something a little bit different and it's not something I've done before. It's going to be more of like a reaction video. First of all, full credit to Krissy Cela because I saw her do this maybe a month ago now, and ever since I saw her do it I was like, I'm definitely doing that because I know that there are certain things that have changed a lot, especially in my lower body training. So I thought it would be a really cool idea to sit and react with you to my first glute workout video that I posted on YouTube about 2 years ago. I hope that this video can be educational for you guys. You can learn something, you can take something away from it, and yeah, also if you do train how I'm training in this video, do not feel bad. It's not, I am kind of blind reacting to it because I've not watched the full thing, but I have like skipped through it just to have some things in my mind. It's not a dangerous way of training, it's just probably not optimal for what I was trying to achieve. So I'm going to bring my laptop down here, and I'm going to try and like screen record on my laptop so that we can watch it together in real time. But I'm going to pull up the video now. I'm going to watch it. It's 16 minutes long, so I might skip past some of the talking bits and just get straight onto the actual workout itself. I used to be obsessed with that music. I found it hilarious. I put it over everything. Gymshark shorts. I used to love those. So see-through. Blonde hair, looks fried. Interesting. Oh, I know I said I wasn't going to bully myself, guys, but like the lip filler. Come on. Thank God I got that bad boy dissolved. I like to ramble at the start of my videos, as I'm sure you're all aware, so I'm going to skip through the talking parts and get into the workout. So does the workout start like here?
But the first exercise
here we go.
is Sumo deadlift, and for this I've been doing 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, depending.
Set and rep range isn't bad.
As much as I can and get like 8 reps with good form. So the form with this
not bad. 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps is pretty standard. Form is pretty good, but as you will see, my knees and like shins kind of come in like this slightly when I'm at the bottom. When I'm grabbing the bar, they kind of come in like this. So realistically, so I would actually bring my feet in a little bit further in just so that I can keep my shins straight. This is something that I noticed my shins doing when I used to do sumo deadlift still. I'll get onto that in a second. When I used to do them all the time, and I did actually change my stance and it fixed that because my legs were just caving, my knees were caving and my shins weren't staying nice and vertical. Also, no clips on the bar.
You should keep your spine neutral at all times.
Posture is good, to be fair. Not hyperextending at the top. Hips are rising at the same time as the bar. The form is pretty smooth, to be honest. The sets and the reps for the first exercise pretty standard, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Still do that in some of my training programs now. Obviously if I'm doing like strength work, I'd maybe do them a little bit lower, but 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps is pretty standard for like a hypertrophy main compound at the start of a session. The form overall is pretty good, like I've just gone over, no qualms about that. I used to actually, which I think I said in this video, but I'll have skipped past it, when I first started posting my workouts before I was qualified, I used to send everything over to a qualified PT to get them to check it whilst I was still getting my qualification, just so that someone qualified had checked over it. Now, sumo deadlifts, do I do them anymore in a glute program? Personally, for myself, no. I would maybe switch this out to something like an RDL instead, which is definitely going to work my glutes a lot better. It's going to work my glutes in the lengthened position. Now, there is 2 camps when it comes to sumo deadlifts on. Some people think they're like really good for glutes, and some people think actually they're not the best exercise for glutes. If you enjoy doing sumo deadlifts, there's nothing wrong with actually keeping them in your program. You've got to find the balance between what's optimal and what you enjoy, and at the end of the day, sumo deadlifts might not be the most optimal deadlift for working the glutes, but if you enjoy doing them and there's something that you love doing in the gym, should you carry on doing them? Yes, because training enjoyment is very, very important, and there are other exercises that you can put into your sessions across the week to supplement that will load the glutes better and make your training more optimal while still making it enjoyable, if that makes sense. Now, sumo deadlifts, I used to think, as did a lot of people, that they are the best deadlift for loading your glutes. Like I've just said, I would actually opt for an RDL over this now. When you're doing a sumo deadlift, it's actually loading a lot more of your adductors, and it's not actually a ton of glutes being involved in that type of deadlift. I would swap this out for an RDL or a floating deadlift, which if you watch my last glute workout video that I posted, they are in there with a full form explanation. I would maybe do an RDL if I'm wanting to keep it deadlift focused, or a glute bias squat if I wanted to have that as a first compound, or just start with a hip thrust. That wouldn't be a problem. Next exercise, what's it going to be?
The next exercise is hip thrust. I've been doing
Good
5
exercise.
sets of 8 in this particular workout.
What should I just say?
It's a workout.
Did I just say 5 sets of 8?
In this particular work, next exercise is hip thrust. I've been doing 5 sets of 8 in this particular workout. It's been really hard to show you I'm still going to insert the clip, but it's very hard to show the form of hip thrusts because...
So I'm just going to pause that for a second and talk about the sets and reps. 8 reps, again, fine for working on hypertrophy and all that good stuff. 5 sets is a little bit excessive. That's 5 sets just based off the hip thrust alone, volume on the glutes in a session. 5 sets on the glutes in a session is fine, but that 5 sets of one exercise that's loading the glutes quite intensely, like a hip thrust where it is like a very glute dominant movement, it's a little bit excessive. I would probably now in my training do like 2 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 8. I definitely wouldn't be doing 5 sets of 8 after I've just done 4 sets of deadlifts on the hip thrust. Yeah, I just think it's a little bit excessive, and the chances are that after 2 to 3 sets, the remaining sets are not quality sets. I'm very fatigued, and yeah, I wouldn't maybe go with 5 sets. It's a little bit excessive, but we will check out my form and have a look at that.
But yeah, as you can see, I use an incline bench.
So I'm using an incline bench, right?
Just because the normal benches, in my opinion,
that's fine. It's hitting around the right spot, so it's hitting around bottom of my sports bra kind of area. I'm keeping my gaze forward, chin tucked, shins are reaching 90 degrees at the top, and it looks like I'm getting a full lockout. So my form on hip thrust is actually looking pretty good. I don't really have any issues with that. I would still have hip thrust in a workout now. In this particular workout so far, I would maybe do RDLs instead of the sumo deadlifts, and I would keep the hip thrusts in, but I would maybe do less sets just so it's a little bit less intense. Next exercise.
5 sets of 8 is what I've been doing on those, and that is a horizontal exercise, so that's upper and lower glute max. The next exercise is goblet squats, and I've been doing 4 sets of 10 in this particular workout.
Goblet squats, fine exercise to be doing. 4 sets of 10, so now we've done 4 sets on sumo deadlifts, we've done 5 sets of hip thrusts, and now we're doing 4 sets of goblet squats already. And I know that there's 8 minutes left of this video, so I know I'm going to do more exercises. It's a lot to be doing in a session just across the first 3 moves, and because I know there's more, I know that this workout is going to rack up even more volume. Now at this point, I know I was training 3 times a week on my glutes. This is way too much for me to be doing if I'm going to be trying to train my glutes 3 times a week. Too much volume. By the time I'm getting to the end of my session, there's no way that I am going to be able to put as much effort into things as I should be doing. Now, it's not a crazy Instagram workout like I've seen where people are doing like 10 plus exercises in a session. It's not on that level, but the amount of sets I'm doing is quite a lot. 10 reps, not really a problem, pretty standard for hypertrophy. The only thing I'm gonna say so far is that so far in this workout the reps have stayed pretty similar in ranges. Now I do like to switch it up and have some different rep ranges throughout my session. They've stayed pretty similar throughout, but we'll see if that changes or not. But yeah, goblet squats, not a bad exercise. We will check my form.
So what I found with goblet squats is it seems to be quite individual. It's not like a sumo stance or anything. I'd say it's quite like a neutral stance. It's not.
Okay, we're going quite deep. Knees aren't caving, which is good. Ankles aren't rolling in. Posture is overall good. Yeah, those knees are staying nice and strong, staying pushed out. Ankles aren't rolling in. Pretty good form, to be honest. So goblet squats, not a bad exercise choice overall. There is one form tweak that I would make if I want to make this a bit more glute dominant, although to be honest, I've just done 5 sets of hip thrusts on my glutes. Do I need the goblet squat to be glute dominant? I'm not entirely sure. But what I would change about the form here to make it more glute dominant and really work those glutes in the lengthened position would be, as you can see on the form, I'm coming, let me just skip back so you can see here. I'm coming quite low down and I'm butt winking when I get to a certain point. So I'm going past parallel, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I'm then butt winking, which is taking the tension off of my glutes. So what I would tweak here would be to really focus on pushing my hips back and down to make it more glute dominant. And then when I get to the point just before I start butt winking, that would be where I come back up. So for me, what it looks like on here, probably about parallel would be where I would stop and come back up to keep making sure that I am keeping that tension on the glutes and not just losing it at the bottom by coming too far down for my range of motion for my glutes to get the most out of it, and butt winking at the bottom, which just takes a little bit of tension off. Next exercise is exercise number 4. What's it going to be?
The next exercise is cable pull throughs. I've been doing 3 sets of 15 in this particular workout.
Okay, 3 sets of 15. I've finally come down in sets, which is great. 3 sets of 15, good for like lighter accessory work towards the end of a workout. I do tend to do that now, so I do tend to go from like, I'll move from like the 6 to 10 kind of range to like the 15 rep range throughout a workout. You don't have to do it like that. You can do it on different days or however you want to do it, but that's how I like to do it. I'm gonna have to plug my charger in 1 second. But yeah, we will look at the form and then I'll just go through cable pull throughs with you, but we'll check form first.
I like do different rep ranges in a workout. That's just how I like to do things. I always leave my cable pull throughs until the end. I find if I do them early, I don't on my phone. So you want to sit back with your hips with a slight bend in the knees, nothing crazy. I know that some people do it really bent, but I personally don't. I find that I don't feel it in my glutes at all. So a slight bend in the knees, and you go down until you feel like a stretch in your hamstrings, which is the back of your leg basically.
Okay, so form isn't bad for a cable pull through. 3 sets of 15 isn't bad for an accessory move, but as far as cable pull throughs go as an exercise, do I do them anymore? No. I would probably swap this out for something like a rounded back extension instead. A cable pull through is just not loading your glutes in the way that I used to think it does. Your torso is actually doing a lot more of the work. I'm going to pop in a screenshot of a post by Coach Kassim on Instagram, so you can take a look at that, and that explains perfectly why a cable pull through isn't necessarily the best exercise to be doing for your glutes. Now I know it's a favourite for some people and some people absolutely love it. I just don't do them anymore because I like to optimise my training, and training enjoyment is also important for me, but cable pull throughs were never something that I was absolutely obsessed with. I just used to do them because I thought they were a good glute exercise, but actually they're not, and there are other accessory glute movements which would work better, which I would definitely rather be doing. In this specific workout, we're racking up way too much volume at this point. However, 3 sets of 15 of a rounded back extension as accessory work at the end of a workout would not be a bad thing. It's just that in conjunction with this workout, we've already done a lot of volume and it is a bit too much. So yeah, next exercise.
And I just, like, I couldn't get the right angle, like it was just so hard to see what I was doing. So I'm gonna insert a clip of I think Lucy Davis uploaded a video doing it the other day, so I'm going to
love Lucy.
That. Again, with seated abduction, I tend to find that everyone seems to do it differently to feel it in their glutes. Me personally, I lean forward, hold onto the machine like Lucy is doing, and I'm slightly off the seat, but not like crazy off the seat. Some people just sit on the edge of the seat, some people come a little bit off it. Just play around with it and see what you feel more in your glutes. But yes, I lean forward and 2 to 3 sets depending on how much I can be asked to do, of 10, 10, 10. So I'll do 10 reps on a heavy weight, 10 reps.
So we've got a bit of drop set work. Nice to finish off a session and really push yourself. Love a good drop set at the end of a session. Again, at this point I've already done way too much, so I'm just racking up more and more volume. Seated hip abduction machine. I spoke about this on Instagram literally a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to tell you my own little story with the seated hip abduction machine and why I don't use it anymore. So around last November I started with a very severe pain in my glute. It was spreading around my hip area and going into my lower back, and it was really painful, to the point where some days I was waking up and I couldn't walk properly. My training was really taking a hit. My boyfriend Dan is obviously an osteopath. Well, it's not obvious, but he is an osteopath, and he took a look at it for me and he said that my piriformis seemed very tight. He did massage it and stuff, which helped a lot. It helped a lot, but like, it was painful, but it never really got properly better. Then I was on TikTok quite a few months ago now, and I started seeing JPG coaching, sorry if I'm speaking a bit funny, I've got my lens in, and a couple of other fitness accounts, very popular fitness accounts, speaking about why the seated hip abduction machine is not really great for your glutes, and it trains more your piriformis muscle. And I think some accounts are saying it trains more of your TFL as well, which is not really a muscle that you want to be training. I saw this stuff and I ignored it for a little bit because I was like, ooh, and then I started looking into it and I thought, you know what, Amy, just take the seated hip abduction machine. I know you've been doing it for years, but just take it out of your program and see how you go. Like, there's plenty of other exercises that you can do instead. Took it out of my program. I also took all of the excessive banded work out of my program as well. I cannot remember the last time I used a hip circle, I'll be completely honest. It's been a couple of months now at least for the banded work. I definitely took the seated hip abduction machine out first, and then over time I've taken out the banded work, because I just felt like that was not helping either. Ever since I've done that, I don't have the pain anymore. And yeah, so that was my little story with the seated hip abduction machine, and I do have a few clients who have had similar issues. When I've taken the seated hip abduction machine out, it has gone away. What I will say is, if you are having issues like the ones that I've just spoken about that I was having, seek a professional opinion. I am a trainer, I'm not a physio, I'm not an osteo, I'm not a chiro. You need to seek out a professional opinion, find out what's going on and go from there. I am not diagnosing you with what I had wrong just because you have similar symptoms. Let me make that very clear. But yeah, I do not do the seated hip abduction machine anymore, and I don't put it in my clients' programs anymore as of around a month ago. Instead, what I would do here to get a bit of abduction kind of work in and work more of that glute medius section, what I would do is a glute medius kickback, which is basically where you don't come, it's not a cable kickback, so you don't come straight back. It's not a cable abduction, so you don't come straight out. It's kind of diagonal, like right down the middle to target that glute medius. Yeah, my advice for 2019, Amy, would be take the seated hip abduction machine out of your training. Save yourself the pain that you're about to endure, because it was bad.
Medium weight and 10 reps on a lightweight, rest, and then I'll do 2 sets off.
Okay, it looks like I've put some band work in at the end.
And it's not like the whole workout has just been like half-assed, like this is a solidly hard workout to do.
It's a lot of volume.
Nothing
It is a hard workout.
I like yeah, it just basically, it's continuous. So there's loads of different variations of this, but one of my favourite ones to do is a lateral band walk. So the band is around your knees and you're walking side to side. You want to...
Form isn't bad, form is okay.
Throughout the movement, so don't bring your legs.
And the form tips I'm giving if you do want to do this stuff, pretty decent.
So yeah, 40 reps of those, and then get into a glute bridge position and 20 abductions at the top. Same again, keeping the tension on the band so you're not going all the way back in. And then drop to the bottom position of a glute bridge and do 20 abductions there. And I'll normally do that like twice, sometimes 3 times if I'm feeling like, but normally just like twice. And
so I finished off the workout with a band burnout circuit, pretty high rep work, not too taxing because it's just banded. It's not really gonna, it's not so difficult that it's really gonna add any meaningful volume to the workout. To be honest, you could just skip it, and that's what I do now. I skip it. If you enjoy doing banded circuits and stuff at the end of your sessions and it's not causing you any issues, fine. If you enjoy it and you're dead set on doing it, fine. But did I need to do this? No. Was it necessary? No. Do I do it anymore? No. And these kind of movements and the excessive banding work was definitely also contributing to the injury that I had. So for me personally, I don't do this anymore. It's probably been about 1 to 2 months since I've reached for a hip circle. I just don't do the band burnout stuff at the end of session anymore. Like I even pointed out in this video, that stuff is kind of just for fun. You get a little pump. It's not actually gonna add any muscle really. The more meaningful stuff is the compounds throughout the session that you're going to be doing, the progressive overload, making sure your nutrition's right. That's where the real muscle growth is going to come from, not doing a band burnout circuit at the end of your session. You can take it or leave it, is my opinion on that one. So yeah, that was me reacting to my first ever glute workout video that I posted. It's been a really nice video to actually just go back and watch that. I know that with my screen recording I didn't actually have the audio on the first half, so I'm sorry if that editing has been a bit weird on that. I am an idiot basically, and I actually just didn't realise that I needed to add the audio on until my laptop died, and then I had to restart the clip. So yeah, if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up because it helps a lot. Subscribe if you want to and you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. On both those accounts I'm just at amyrookes because I'm super active on there. Any questions you've got about anything, leave them down below. Any videos you want to see, leave them down below in the comments, and I will get back to you all. But yeah, thank you for watching and bye.